Guys, welcome back to another episode of Pickle Juice. This week, I'm super excited to have somebody on that I've had numerous conversations, numerous podcasts, webinars, different things in the past, and also somebody that I've learned a lot from in my career. And some of the stuff that he's written has been very influential in my career in the past. I have Aaron Ross on today, who is the CEO and founder of Craft Books That Make Millions. Bring Your Own Book Alive, or Bring Your Book Alive, is a new venture that he's working on, which I'm interested to learn more about now. In a previous life, he also worked at tech companies such as Salesforce, where he built a multi-million-dollar machine there from the ground up, let's say. And from that, he then wrote books such as Predictable Revenue, which I was just referring to there a moment ago. That was, to me, my Bible when I first joined the tech world. It was handed to me by a CMO and said, study this, make notes, and make sure that you keep on reading it over and over again, which I did. And then following that, then the subsequent follower after Predictable Revenue was From Impossible to Inevitable, which was also a great read, which is to me, almost like an updated version or a level up on Predictable Revenue almost.
Yep.
And yeah, Aaron Ross, or as people also refer to you as Air. So very great to have you on today, Aaron. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, Andy, happy to be, here, I guess, on the virtual or whatever that means these days, here in the Matrix.
For sure. Tell me, what are you up to nowadays?
About 5'6", 5'7", 142 pounds. Not sure what that is in stone. I know. Okay.
You should know in stone. You're living in the UK, man. You should know in stone.
I can do inches to centimeters and vice versa. So no, what's interesting is that I am working on. So everyone knows me primarily for Predictable Revenue, the book / business, but book.
This one?
And then I think, there's that one. Like I said, there's the sequel, follow-up book, From Impossible to Inevitable.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, which is more of an executive go-to-market book, really. So the idea wasn't really a sequel; it's more of different. If you're a C-level or founder or someone, like, what's kind of a growth Bible. So I like to say too, Peter Thiel wrote 0 to 1. So this is kind of like 1 to N was the Inevitable book. So like that whole SaaS world and sales, I did that for, I don't know, maybe 10 years in terms of consulting and full-time stuff, probably 20 years from Salesforce to like 2020, 2021. And then I just wanted to do something new and move on. And so the last few years, to summarize, it was like, I know I didn't want to do full-time sales books. I wanted to do something different that felt a bit more meaningful and find, kind of ikigai, right? Find work I love, but not make less money, kind of like a starving artist, but to actually make more money doing something I loved more than sales. And so now I've got to the point where I know a lot more about what that is. It's been 3 years I've been working on this. I wouldn't say I'm super clear, but I'm clear enough. So, going through these phases of, like to say, in my 30s, I was like really learning like what sales was, how to, and also write a book. In my 40s, I was earning. And so I made a lot of money, probably $10 million over that decade because of the books. And also because I had to, because I went from 0 to 9 kids and now 10 kids within 7 years. Well, 0 to 9 kids in 7 years. And then we waited a few years and adopted a 10th. So that was, earning in my 40s and then burning my pass down around 50, early 50s. And now I'm actually discerning, which is like, what do I really want to do and how can I make money from it? And so one of these things I really loved, I like sales. I didn't love it. I just happened to be good at it, I think, as an engineer. But what I do love is books. So I think the whole sales thing really wasn't so much, I love sales. I'm this master of sales and so on. Like, I think I'm really interested in people and how they interact, and I love books. And so I happen to start from sales. So I'm working on new books, and with either myself or others. So I'm writing now. There's a book called Income Operating System, just helping people, I think, learn some new tools around how to make money for themselves, and trying to do it in an unbiased way, because I feel like so much of the stuff online is so biased. And the gist is, look, 3 ways to make money through earning with like a salary full of part-time, freelancing, consulting, gigging, whatever, and like investing, and just giving people some pros and cons of all those so they can mix and match better. because you got a lot of older people who are scared to start their own business or do side stuff. You got young people who are scared to get a job because, and like they're all great in different ways. So that'll probably be out next year. There's another book I'm working on right now called Eat, Shit, and Grow. I like a lot of stories from having such a big family, 10 kids, and dealing with like getting pushed to the wall financially, emotionally, physically, just energy wise, and just interesting, weird stories out of that. I don't know if that has to be done next year. I'm just going to work on it whenever I do. And as well as like starting to create a community and coach people, starting really with probably founders, entrepreneurs, types, leaders who want to do their own business book. Because I, just love books. I'm not going to do much coaching. So I'm still sorting out like, how can I do this and help people do their own books in a way that I still feel good. So I have a partner, and so a lot of this I'm sorting through, like, what can I do for work that lights me up a bit? And nowadays I'm 52. And how can I do that in a way that I feel good about it? And I end up making more money at that than I used to do doing sales books, which again was a lot. And I'm probably, I don't know if I'm 3 years in, there might be another 3 years, I don't know how long it'll take, but I've gone from being a couple of years ago, I was thinking, could I figure out work that I love and make a lot, enough money at it? I don't know. Till now, okay, I am going to do it. I don't know exactly when or how, but it's going to happen at some point. That's kind of the long answer to your short question.
So sort of probably the best way to describe you at the moment would be author, right? In a way.
Author. And well, the thing is, I've got a business, yes, author, and I like to partner. So I'm very much a partnering person. So I have a business in Brazil. It's small. It's like, several $100,000. I mean, small, like in the scheme of things. And I'm more like coach mentor. I don't actively work it. There's a CEO there who runs it. And I have, and I'm starting another one, from the income operating system book I'm doing with a partner. And the book community thing I'm doing with a partner. Like, I have to partner with people for all these things because I'm only good, as I get older, I'm like, okay, what am I really good at? And what can I stick to? And what could I be good at, but I don't want to do or shouldn't do? And I have to, again, remember, I have 10 kids. I can't do everything. I can't grind it out. I have enough grinding as a parent. So I have to partner and focus on what I can do best and have them do what they can do best in order to do this and to be successful. It was always the case the last 15 years, but now it's like my margin for, not for error, but my margin for being able to stray from the things I really do well is smaller for a lot of reasons. Like I said, I can do spreadsheets. Like I was in investment banking and did M&A. Like, I can spreadsheet the hell out of it. I don't like to do it. I don't want, no. What I like to do. So again, as I'm getting older, I'm just like honing in further and further and further. Like, again, what am I already either great at or want to be great at, not be great at yet? What can I do? Do I want to do? And then are there some things that I don't want to do, but I'm the only one who can do them? And kind of like everything else I'm trying to have other people do as these businesses develop. I would say there is still some things that I'm going to do myself. Again, like this Eat, Shit, and Grow book, I'm going to write that myself. I'll get other people to help with editing and so on and so forth. The income operating system book, he's doing most of the writing, we're partnering. I'm doing some of the writing. He's doing more. So again, so it depends on the topic, depends on the project. Each project is its own beast, each business its own thing. And I really want to start fiction writing and not to do books. Like, this is just more of like, this is an area, like an unlock to new stuff for me. And I don't even know exactly where it'll go. I wouldn't even call it a hobby. It's just almost like a creative pursuit that I'm going to do for me. And there's no partners at this point. It's almost like it's because it's so new. It's almost like a bit like a pipeline. The oldest businesses, I've got solid partners in businesses, and the newest ones it's like babies. So I haven't even conceived this new fiction stuff really. So yeah, author, I don't know, partner, mentor, coach. Those are all. I wouldn't even say entrepreneur. Who knows?
Sort of entrepreneur, sort of. Like, I think it's cool that
sorting all this. I'm only 52, so I'm still figuring this out. I got another 20, 30 years before I can,
exactly.
know what the hell's going on.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, like, I think it's great that you're in a stage now where you've realized that, okay, it's time for me to maybe hone in on what I enjoy. what actually makes me tick,
Yeah. Well, look, I get it. Hey, I have lots of people to support financially. I had to work in the sales world for as long as I did and push myself, not in terms of hours, but in terms of getting over fear, uncertainty, and doubt in business practice to make a lot of money to support the family. And I didn't really have the luxury to figure out a different version of how I wanted to work that fed myself, right? In that case, I knew I needed a partner. There's certain things I like to do. I like speaking. And so again, a lot of people have to do jobs and just to pay the bills, to support a family for one thing or the other. And I got to the point where things changed. I couldn't do that anymore. I was getting out of my predictable revenue business and a buyout. I had to, and this is COVID, like, I guess even emotionally, but also really, like, I just had to do something new. I couldn't go back to that. So it's kind of been pushed out of the nest a bit. So yeah, again, it's easy for people to say, hey, do what you love or figure out your passion. Like, yeah, well, sometimes you're not able to do that for one reason or another. And it's taken me 3 years. And the first year was like, just started with not even knowing what I actually wanted to do. And over time, I was getting a little more sleep. My youngest at that point was like 4. Now the youngest is 7.5. So there's a lot of different factors that converge to me being able to almost like take a breath and think, like, if I can choose a new path, like, where do I want to make money and how? I know I need to make a lot of money still. Like a big family, like it's crazy how much a big family costs. And we've always lived in big cities, right? We're not in rural. It was Los Angeles for 10 years and then now Edinburgh. So I don't have the luxury of not working. And I still pay the bills through a variety of means these days, including, I don't know, there's different royalties and paid speaking and business, business stuff. But it's not enough to like, I need to make more money, but I have a bit of the place where I have to kind of, I know I'm not going to make more money as much unless I'm doing things that really I'm engaged in. Because I've seen in the past, even in the sales world, when I wasn't engaged, and that might have been the topics, there's also the business partner situation, team, all these other things, and just physical energy being on, so at the wall with so many kids. I just wasn't be able to tap into the place of like creative ideas or differentiate ideas and things that would help elevate myself, the brand, whatever I was doing above the noise and really connect with people. And now with AI and all the noise is only going to continue. Like, okay, so as I connect with myself and what really appeals to me, and it's easier to connect with other people, and that'll make it easier to, again, create something that's going to be enjoyable for me and others, but also make more money than I used to.
Fair. I mean, that's the dream, right? That's exactly where you want to be. But I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm still working on it, but yes, it's again, and maybe that'll be another book. I'm working on a keynote talk. So, because I want to help people with this as well. I'm not through it yet, again, but I've learned I'm on the way, and I also know, again, it's very easy for people to say, "Oh, do what you like," and in practice, I know it's going to be really hard. So I think, again, for me, it's like this patience and baby steps. Things often just take years longer than we want. I got business partners. One is super aggressive, but again, he can work as much as he wants. I've just seen now he's starting to see, oh, it's going to take years longer than he thought it should or could, and that's okay. And some people may be different. I don't know, this stuff, it's almost like a couple years, even in the Impossible book, it takes 2 years to get to the point where this business is going to go someplace or not. And I'm living that again, years and years.
I think that's just how it is. I think I'd say this to founders quite often as well, and that, look, the success won't be built overnight, even though you want it to be built overnight, and you don't have the patience for it to not be built overnight. But like, there's no quick fix.
The other, and no, there's no quick fix. Unless sometimes someone has like some people either get lucky, whether you believe in fate or, destiny or whatever. Like some people either get lucky or they were just stumbled into something that just, or again, think all the case studies of people who made $1 trillion in 30 days, usually they were building on something else they'd done before that anyway. And those, like anyone who has case studies and examples, okay, out of 100 customers, you're going to pick the 3 that, of course, are incredibly exceptional because that you want to market yourself. So it's so easy in the world of social media or just media, that we have this reality distortion. And the reality is, like most people, it's a slow, step-by-step grind or path, or like parenting. There's nothing happens fast in parenting. Although hopefully the birth happens fast. If that doesn't,
that doesn't always, from my experience.
No, I know. Yeah. For us, it generally did. But adoption, sometimes those 5 of the 10 kids are adopted. I don't know. It's like now, after I've been a parent for 12, almost 13 years, 2 kids from my wife's first marriage, 3 bio kids together, and 5 adopted. Like, this now, it's like, it really feels like the family keeps settling into more of like a groove. It's like, a decade of, it's like a decade of stabbing myself in the eye. And it feels, okay, it's ever more often feels like it's paying off. I have more sanity, so hard for so long, like every day, just like hitting myself on the hammer, but, so much, like, I'm talking about the emotional and physical challenge of dealing with the money, the family, the kids, all those things. And it's taken so many years to get to the point where, like, okay, it's all kind of feels a little bit more like it's in a groove and things are working, and there's always like shit to deal with and problems, but it's less, I don't know, it's like more grounded or more solidified.
Was it something that you always wanted? Was it something that you always wanted to have so many kids?
I had zero idea. I had no fucking idea. Just no idea. No idea. The thing is, I never knew what I really wanted. Yeah, I didn't know I'd be an author. I didn't know I'd be in sales, which there's so many things in my life I had zero idea. And I'm not someone who ever really had like clear vision for my life and had a bunch of goals and made them happen. Honestly, my future generally, there are some exceptions, but most of the time I have these vague feelings, or maybe the feeling is clear. I feel, okay, I want to go this direction with some feeling, like I want to write books. But I'm like, I have no idea what that means or what that's going to look like. Or I want more money. Or, in this case, I wasn't even one of the family. We, got married, kids. I knew we wanted another baby soon. But after that, it was like, then my wife started talking about adoption. I was like, okay. And then, it just happened every year. Was just another baby. We either had a baby or adopted someone. It just happened like year by year. And along the way, at some point, we're like, oh yeah, we do want a big family, but we never set out to be like, okay, let's have, here's how we're going to have 5 more kids. It just kind of
sort of happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually quite a nice way of doing it, because you don't overthink it. That's the thing, right? No.
It's kind of opening thing. Is, as humans, we want to feel safe by knowing what's going to happen, but even though we don't, like, it's just, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We just keep trying to kind of predict things. And I couldn't tell you how much of my life has turned out this way, because I was just like open to stuff happening and not rejecting it out of hand. Like, my wife, I never thought about adoption myself. When she first broached it, she said she'd always wanted to since she was young. And I was like, oh, well, I basically didn't legally, but emotionally adopted our first 2 kids from her first marriage. Okay. I understand all the fears and concerns if someone hadn't been through that or adoption, and be like, the cost, like, what if this kid's, challenged or damaged, or like all the trauma you hear about. And by the way, every child, whether they're yours or adopted, is going to have some sort of trauma or challenge, just different flavors of the buffet. I could have thought that, but I was like, yeah, all right, let's talk about it. Or, we moved to Edinburgh from Los Angeles. We both wanted to move to Europe at some point. It just took years longer than we thought to make it happen. And just kind of remaining, it's like, for me, everyone's got their thing. I think just remaining open to like random stuff that happens or could happen, versus just discounting it. It's like, no, that's a stupid idea. Like, I don't know. Man, we'll see.
I mean,
writing fiction.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if you can manage to do it, with the writing fiction thing, and it's something that gets you involved creatively and helps.
Well, I'm not there yet, but that's my next step. I got to buy it's something I'm aiming for. So again, it's this feeling like I really want to. I'm interested in it more for fun, unlock my creativity, and I'm just kind of drawn to it. I don't have no plans to make money at it. I just want to have some fun with it. I don't know what it'll look like. The book someday, I don't know. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to do this too.
That's cool, man. I mean, I like that approach to life. Like even with the kids, it's I guess in your house all the fun never stops, right? Whereas you've got
all the
five.
work, all the chores never stop, all the fun. I mean, we have lots of everything. There's lots of like bickering and lots of laughing,
Of course, yeah.
right? And we have 5 dogs in the house, so there's lots of barking. But and it all, there's lots of stuff. But yeah, it's great. I mean, I never growing up ever even imagined wanting lots of kids. I think I have the 2 kids type of like stereotypical, but getting into it, I'm like, wow, it's amazing. It's so much work. Again, I did mention the basically stabbing yourself in the eye for 10 years every day straight. Okay, there's that part of it, but the amount of like love and fun and meaning, it's like my foundation, like the family, and it's not like my purpose, but like the amount of that kind of grounding, I say solid, like emotional stability and meaning, all that like is amazing. I never knew. So I'm not saying everyone should have 10 kids, but
certainly not. Certainly not.
No, not if again, who's going to want to stab themselves in the eye for 10 years straight?
Exactly.
But if you're, so it's like if you're wondering if one partner wants more, and man, that first year or two is just so rough.
Tough. Yeah.
And then on the relationship too and everything. But if you get through it and through the other side, like, wow, amazing.
Great. I only have one, but it's by far the best thing to happen to me, to us.
Yeah.
Like as a family, I have 1 kid, 1 dog. I fully agree. I certainly don't have anything close to 10.
Wow,
so
a lot of free time.
Man, she's older now as well. So like, it's crazy. Like we felt although nowadays that we sort of have a chunk of our life back, but like I understand the dynamic with having more kids as well is also a lot of fun, right? Like they almost, in a way, I would imagine, are raising themselves or in like each other a little bit. Or does that happen at all?
You can not really. You can probably, it's easier, I think, they play a lot together. Yeah, there's a lot of great dynamics between all the kids, and even younger and older. Like we really we try to work to make sure like the older kids have relationship with the youngers. We're really trying to create a family where it's a community and people, can rely on each other and trust and play with each other and work through issues and all the other. It's like let's see, these like an emotion, if I step back, and it's like an emotional intelligence incubator where everyone's just like arguing and dealing with stuff all day. But, it is, there's lots of benefits to having so many kids in so many ways. Like, and again, the love, and everyone's got a community and they're going to help each other and and challenge each other. And yeah, by the way, yes, the amount of work, again, the physical, mental, emotional, all that stuff is unimaginable. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I don't even know how we got through that. We're still getting through it, but just like, oh my God, there's so many days, years where it's just like zombie parents because you're so exhausted, but especially like the sleep deprivation.
It's the hardest part. It's the hardest part.
It just makes everything else harder. So that's why, again, once the youngest got to be about 4-ish and things got to be a lot easier just with basic sleep.
Yeah, sleep makes a huge difference. I mean, how many did you have? What was the most you had 2 under 2 at one time?
Well, there was a time in 2017, the youngest was born. So she was a baby. There's a baby we adopted in 2016. So it was 2 infants, basically. And the one we adopted in 2016, her mom had been troubled and was on, so the baby had gone through some detox and stuff, but she was doing well. 2 babies. There's, I think, a 3-year-old and 2017 and a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. No, in 2017, there's a bunch of young kids under, whatever. They're probably 4 that are under 5 or younger, something like that. And we had to hire help. That's why, again, Bill's like, just for sanity. And also, we usually had 1 or 2 kind of nannies, whether it's cleaning, cooking, just for help. There's 1 year we had 5 kids. There's 5 different schools we had drop-offs for because of both ages, like elementary school, middle school, high school, but also like we found the right kid in the wrong school wasn't worth, like it's better to have them in a different school than trying to deal with the kid in the wrong school. It's just brutal. Brutal.
What car do you drive, by the way? What do you drive?
It was in Los Angeles. It was a Sprinter, a 12-person passenger van.
Yes.
And this is even because I was always an active, really hands-on father completely. I mean, I worked maybe 15, 20 hours a week through that whole span of 10 years because I already laid the groundwork before. Between my wife she was, I wouldn't even say stay-at-home parent. We both worked from home. She had her projects and she was, so yeah. It was just, even with two parents who are hands-on, we still need help. It's a huge family.
Of course.
And we didn't go through the route of like having kind of the military boot camp where like the oldest kid basically like teaches the next one and on down. And I don't know. It'll probably be another 20 years before we know how successful as parents we really were. It's one thing you learn, if you have some sort of short-term win, don't like, you have some things that feel great, some things that don't. They don't really mean anything that's in the longer term game of building a family and being a parent and everything else. So
you get up and do it again. You just get up and do it again.
Yeah. So,
and on that note, Aaron, I think we'll call it because we've just gone over time. But thanks a million, mate, for coming on. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, Andy.
Hearing what's been going on and with the family and everything. And hats off with the 10 kids, man. That's quite the achievement. And also, like, I'm looking forward to reading that book. Eat shit and grow is what you said.
Eat shit and grow, right? Yeah. So again, yeah, I'm not sure. Could be a year, next year, maybe. Working on stories. I got a bunch. I'll see. I don't really know how it's coming. I have a good draft so far. Happy to share that with you right now. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But
sure,
excited for it. Funny and random weird stories.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to hearing it. All right, Eric, thanks a million, mate. It's been a real pleasure again. And we'll catch you again soon.
Thanks, Andy.
Cheers. Guys, this has been another episode of Pickle Juice. Tune in again next week for more great content. Thanks, Aaron.